because of our feeling that we are getting exploited very clearly and very aggressively by the company, the amount of work versus the salary, uh, a big priority for the members of the union was a salary increase. So we were asked, like, basically the entry level salary was $20 an hour. We were asking for an entry salary at 26. Uh, it is like it's a fairly significant pay raise we were asking, but you have to understand, like, this is we were asking for the union industry standard for big warehousing. It's not crazy what we were asking for. We were asking for a wage increase which could at least allow Amazon workers not only to survive and pay the increasingly high rents in Montreal, but to actually save a bit of money, try and have long-term projects, help their family. We have to also remember, I think about 90% of Amazon workers in Montreal are recent immigrants, no permanent residency. So it was a very big issue being able, through this job, to not only like survive and pay basic stuff like rent, all that, but to actually help their family thrive and save money. Uh, that was like the main salary demand. But after that, of course, our demands were really uh, prioritized towards reducing the number of injuries in the workplace. Uh, in 2024, in our house, we had 160 injuries reported. That means an injury reported every 2 days. That's insane. Like you have and that's an underreported number because we know that white badges, seasonal contract employees with no job security, do not report injuries that they get because they are afraid it is going to get them that they will not get their contracts
Yes.
renewed. So we wanted uh, job stability. We wanted an end to this system to make sure that people have access clearly to a permanent job status so they do not feel constantly pressured to work harder, not report injuries, and sacrifice their needs, their basic needs for the profits of the company. Then we wanted strong union rights, like a union office, delegates with rights to address grievances and talk to workers on the shop floor. And we wanted certain oversight of the health and safety rules in the warehouse so that the workers through the union could have a voice in health and safety and could identify risks and try and fight to reduce them. So it was really uh, our demands were really like salary was of course a big one, but also we had a lot of different demands aimed at reducing the number of injuries. Uh, this was when we were bargaining for the union contract. Of course, now situation has changed. Uh, I can talk more about it later if you want, but we are still negotiating the collective agreement because in the law in Quebec, like just because the warehouse closes doesn't mean you finish the arbitration procedure. If you're interested in like the details of that, we can talk about it later. But all this to say, this was demands during the negotiation for a contract. Now, since the closure, of course, situation is different. Do you want to talk about the demands that we have
Yeah,
right now?
yeah. So basically, what our demands right now is for Amazon to pay all the workers, including the drivers, white badges, a 1 year of compensation So that currently in this kind of job market, it's really hard to find a job. We would actually need something other like longer compensation than the what law provided, because
Law provides us like 10 weeks
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
12 weeks or 10,
10 weeks to
10 to,
some, you're
yeah, yeah,
not getting shit.
yeah. I don't, yeah, and also the drivers.
Yeah.
So that's what our demands are at the moment. But we are also trying to push the Quebec government to cancel all their contracts with Amazon, because it's what they're doing is attack on Quebec's laws, labor laws. So also we are thinking by doing this, we can trying to unite the citizens of Quebec and the workers together for a much stronger movement. Uh,
Yeah, it's just the idea behind the government cutting their contracts is like it's such a huge attack on workers and on the working class. Like there must be significant sanctions and consequences for Amazon for
yeah.
this action. This is uh the labor movement must respond strongly to this attack because if we do not, if we allow this, if we let this go, it is a sign of great weakness on the part of the labor movement. This is why we are working with different combative unions in Quebec to push this mobilization to fight back. We cannot allow this to happen without fighting back.
Great, thank you. The next one that we have is, how can Amazon workers between Quebec and the Maritimes or elsewhere support each other?
Yeah.
Well, I think the most basic way is, of course, if we want to help each other, if Amazon workers want to help each other, there needs to be some organization of Amazon workers. Like, uh, if, for example, if Amazon workers in Vancouver or in Halifax are interested in some kind of countrywide thing, in Montreal, we have through the union and through uh, our actions and our picket line, we do organize ourselves as a group to try and solve issues as a group. But then, if Amazon workers in other cities in Canada want to do the same with us or through their own projects, uh, I think the most essential thing is talk to each other. Talk to your coworkers about what's going on. Amazon workers worldwide have similar problems. I'm certain that if you talk to your coworkers and about the problems at work, about what they think about what happened in Quebec, I'm very certain that you will find people where that you have common grounds and common ideas with very fast. And really, it's just about creating links, creating trust amongst coworkers, and coming together to solve questions together. If people are organized in Halifax, if people are organized in other cities, uh, in Vancouver, we can then discuss about collective action. This is really it's the whole ball of yarn. It's we have you have like everyone has to come together, and then we can talk about greater projects.
Also, I just want to add that so it will be a question we want to ask. Also, probably ask yourself like what kind of what stage is the like organization at the moment in each warehouses. So like, are they mobilized? Are they organized? So that's something to think about, I think.
Thank you. Next, how has Workers Alliance in Quebec aided in the struggle of Amazon workers? And following that, should Amazon workers join Workers Alliance?
Yes, we're both members also of Workers Alliance, Alliance Ouvrière in Quebec. It's a inter-union militant group focused on labor organization beyond the we organize by industry without limiting ourselves to we're a member of this union or that union. All union members are welcome. We organize together to push. What we want is a strong combative labor union. A strong combative labor movement that can effectively resist such like multinational, tyranny, like Amazon is doing. So. The question was how can what was the question again?
Specifically, how Workers Alliance in Montreal and Quebec broadly have aided, I guess, in this particular mobilization.
Oh, do you want to talk about the boycott? Like how we're
Yeah.
involved in the boycott?
Yeah. By my experience doing flying with citizens of Quebec, they are pretty much supportive. Uh, they don't Amazon. I mean, Amazon is kind of a big target, so most people don't like Amazon, and they already like before this happened. Before Amazon fired off 4,000 and 300 workers, they already boycott Amazon. Like they're already doing their job. So it's as I said before, like we're trying to organize the uh, Amazon workers and the citizens of Quebec together to push Quebec government to actually boycott Amazon, like cutting the contract and taking all their subsidies to Amazon. So like it's essentially kind of a number, like the more the merrier. So uh, like the more people joins in the movement, the stronger the movement it is. So
Yeah, I
so
think exactly and how we get bigger and stronger movements going is I think groups like Workers Alliance, East Van Workers Assembly, it's groups that want that fight for combative labor movement, that fight for higher labor militancy. Like what we've done is we're like we can act as a center, a rallying point for people who want to fight, and we can organize on the ground actions to help this mobilization go along. Like, for example, in Montreal, uh, Workers Alliance, we've organized like an occupation in Telcom. Like, it's a subcontractor for Amazon after the closure. We helped a Workers Alliance. The militants helped the Amazon workers. They helped us organize a surprise visit to the labor minister this week, where we managed to force the labor minister to have like a talk with Amazon workers about our demands. So it's like basically militant labor groups like East Van Workers Assembly and Workers Alliance. We gather union activists, we gather combative labor militants together, and we make plans in coordination with Amazon workers to push the struggle forward and try and rally more people in this movement.
Thank you. And then the last question, it's along similar lines. You partially answered it, I guess, but how can Workers Alliance in the rest of the country aid the struggle of Amazon workers right now?
Oh, well, I guess would be the question like how organized they are right now. Yeah.
I suppose, but really, it's like our basic demands are higher compensation for workers
Yeah.
and better higher compensation for workers and sanctions against Amazon. So for the federal government and the Quebec government, well, all levels of government basically to cut their contract with Amazon. Different actions can be made in coordination amongst ourselves, but of course, there's the federal government to pressure to cut its commercial ties with Amazon, like especially Amazon Web Services. But there's a whole range of things that can be done. I think ultimately, the working class, our strength comes from shop floor organizations. Like what we need is an organized and strong working class. So ultimately, what different groups can do is help the effort to unionize Amazon workers in other provinces. They can run from Quebec this time, but they can't run forever. Tabarnak, they have to
And
be
to
an
pay
end to
back.
the
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think ultimately there's two aspects. It's solidarity actions to help pressure the federal government if you're outside of Quebec, and also driving for the organization of the working class in the warehouses.
I think also we can provide experience later with our current struggle, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's still in development, the current situation. Yeah.
Yes.